part one of a line and wash. Just finished the big three-parter, the acrylic. This is larger than I usually do in watercolour. It's from a block by Daily Rowney. It's a little bit rougher than the Fabriano, £130. This is £140. They were knocking it out cheap, so I bought a big pad of it. This is as much a rehearsal for a demonstration I'm going to do for a small group in a month. So I want to stay within my level of attainment. So I've been doing these Norfolk Essex type flatland marshes scenes, and I do like them. And I'm just working out a design. I'm going to do this I'm going to go over this with ink, but I want some sort of design. But I don't. But there again, I want a barn of some sort in there again. So always got a bit of putty rubber for when you're doing drawings. This takes the graphite off, but don't dig into the paper, whatever you do. So we can just put a little long barn in here. Try and keep it rough and ready. Just a lonely sort of scene. Going down to the Somerset Harbour. I've done a lot of it. It hasn't proved to be that popular on the views because it's not really a harbour in the conventional sense. It's a large chunk of Hampshire going almost into Sussex with all these lovely low-lying marsh areas, salt marshes, a lot of yachts. Just coming over the top there, and a bit of a pond here, a bit of reflection. Put another building in here, I suppose. Just lost in the landscape. Now, the ink I'm going to use is this black drawing ink. Indian ink is the old Indian ink, but I don't think it's politically correct to call it that anymore because it might upset Indians. So we call it black waterproof ink. We'll just pour a bit out of there. Too much really. Right, okay, let's I'll use a rigger, a small rigger, worn out brush. I'll put in a horizon, a bit of a. I've got a rougher one than this Bockingford here. It's a Bockingford, but it's rough. But I'm preserving that. Just put that across there. The rougher would have been better, but I have used this for line wash, the other half a dozen sheets or so. Just lift it off my brush. Right, okay. So we'll come across there with mixed thatch. Quite a low wall, just a barn. Coming out here, there'll be some shadow in there. Right, so we'll just fill that in with a bit of ink. Okay, we'll just extend that across here. Sorry if I'm basking you. Trying to keep my elbow out of me little bit of black ink. Right, okay, let's just get that up there. Okay. All very rough and ready. Same here. Just low stuff. Some great nylon wash artists, dead now sadly, Edward Wesson and Roland Hilder. Roland used a lot of black paint, black ink. Right, let's keep it nice and clean. I'll do the drawing in this part and the washing in maybe later or another day. Right, let's with a bit of what's left of this brush here, let's just put in some grass across here. We can show some fields, ploughed. Just to give a bit of interest in that part of the foreground. Across the hedgerow. I'm making this up as I go along. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got nothing in mind. Oops. Take off some of the surplus ink. By the time I've washed those in, the colour, they'll look quite good, I hope. Just some distant trees. Here, off the page. I'll put in some trunks and things over there. Exciting. Right. So far so good. Let's just get it, and we can just what's left of the ink on the brush. I'm just taking the surface off. Let's just okay. Some little hot trees in there coming up. Call this sort of a Kent scene. Right, okay. These distant trees here. I just put a series of washes in here. So we'll put a river bank or a stream or river and pond, whatever. Oh, we're just coming along here with some harder stuff. So when I put the colour on, it'll knock a lot of the contrast back. So we'll some reed beds in there. There, out of the way. Can't say I enjoyed painting this pig, but good practice. I have to practice on the larger sheets because some of the people I'm demonstrating are a lot older than me, and they've got to be able to see it. If you get a chance to go online, check out a great friend of mine, Fred Gillespie, G-I-L-I-S-P-I-E, a very fine watercolour painter. I had several exhibitions with Fred over the years. Just some stuff up there. I might be overdoing this, but it is a demonstration of using black paint, black ink. Right, let's put that in the woods, clean that off. I'm not using my watercolour brushes for this. Well, these were old watercolour brushes or oil brushes, whatever I used them for. They all end up ruined eventually, don't they? Right, let's get in with some trees. Have some fun with this. Get carried away. Like an ash tree. Remember that your trunks need to be strong enough to hold up massive weight of branches and leaves and things. Don't be frightened of this, just let the brush go where it goes. The paper's a bit rougher, there'll be more hit and miss on this. But I can't do that, it's not going to play ball. And gradually tapering off till you get into the canopy of the twigs and leaves. Okay, some of the branches come down. Right, that's one, I'll put two in there. Another one coming up here. Making this one a bit heavier than the other one. You can't make them both the same. They look too stilted, look like a regiment. Go across. Let's get them anchored. I'm going to put some ivy on this, I think. Ooh, don't like that. Right, there, interesting enough. I'll go over the other side in a minute. I want to put some detail back into these. Let's just clean the flush. Right, now then, a bit of ivy. Try and leave some holes for the air, the birds. Okay. If you do this and you get scared, you'd be quite right. It's scary. By the time I put a canopy on it and paint it, it won't show anywhere near as much. Right, let's go back to my little rigger. Glad I cleaned it because it just fell on my lap. Right, I'll start over here. Get some of these in. I'm probably putting so much wood back here that doesn't exist. Well, the painting doesn't exist, but it's an impression of Norfolk, Suffolk marshes. But you don't have to be slavish about these things. You can make them up as you go along, like I am. Pick it up a little bit. Bird's nest in. Right, let's come back over. Just an impression of stuff going on in the background there. It'll justify the mud that I put behind it. What Roland Hilda was fond of doing was putting lots of little apple trees. I'm going to come up here now. Get some in there. The painting of this is hopefully will be quite straightforward. Let's just put some. Let's go up there. So let's just fill that in there. Oh dear, not very good, is it? Oh, let's fill that in. A little bit wrong there, so we have to turn it into our advantage. Like a man landed in a black parachute in a free fall. Oh well. sure if you've tried this you'll know how tricky some of this can be. And neck breaking. Right, let's see for some more there, then I'll go back into the foreground. Hey, right. We've had a bit of sun this morning. It's the first bit I can remember since Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. I'm looking beyond the clouds that are creeping up over the horizon. I want to cook a curry outside and it'll be barbecue tonight. But it will all depend on there being a bit of an improvement. We've had a lot of 3 or 4 days rain. Remember to bring some of the branches across other branches as they would, to give a bit of perspective. What I might do on this tree, if I remember, is to put in a slightly mauvey background behind, and it would hopefully give the impression of there being branches going off into the distance behind that tree. Try and give it a 3D effect. I'll show you that if I remember. If I forget, shout loud. Oh, let's fill that gap in there. These little apple trees in. They go very, very crooked here. Could be Kent. The garden of England. We had this lovely week. Weather and holiday, we're very lucky. Just have a spare bit of paper to take excess moisture off your brush. Or you can use, of course, you can use sticks. And when you've used doing watercolour, it's good idea to have a bit of test paper handy, test the tone. Now we want to come into this area here. This is going to be reflection here of that tree. So let's make merry here. Bushes and stuff. Be bold. Now we've got some take those down. Let's get another couple of trees on this edge right here. Maybe I haven't left enough white for those to really register, but hey ho. Right, we can do stuff with that. This is the bank, remember? Right, let's develop some of this here on the edge of the bank. You see? Reed bank. I'll just carry that through a bit more. What you do above, do down below. It's going to be all that massive foliage behind. Okay, there won't be a lot of that showing, it's too far back, but we'll put a bit in. A bang is my neighbour having a bathroom put in next door, or refurb. Right, come up here. He's in there. The son is an art teacher in Cornwall. I'll be a cringe at some of my stuff. Never had a lesson in my life. Well, that's not strictly true. I've not had a formal lesson, but I've seen lots of demonstrations. Read a lot of books, done thousands of paintings. But, as they say, a self-taught artist has a bad teacher. Right, okay, so that's quite dramatic, isn't it? Alright, let's got these little reed beds here coming across. Let's just do some. When I put the sky colours on the water, it might make a bit more sense. Let's just go up here with these. I don't do too much. I don't paint outdoors, or very seldom. I prefer to work in the peace and quiet of the studio. Oh, let's put a signature on it while I'm at it. Right. Okay, I'll call that a wrap. I'll let it dry off and I'll go and have a cup of tea and I'll come back and do another part. Well, that one is uploading on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'll take you in. You can see it before I ruin it with paint. It's a shame to put the paint on, doesn't it? I might not make a thatch barn there. I might make it just red broken tiles. Oops. Okay. Bye bye for now.